Shalom. We are in Haftarah Tsav, which is from Jeremiah, a pretty sad passage where hopefully we can get to the last verse. And if anyone wants to let's see, if you raise your hand or mark on the screen, here's how you do it. Who would like to read first? Go ahead, Eileen.
כה אדוני צבאות אלוהי ישראל סופו על צבאותיהם ואכלו בשר.
And don't forget that word over there. I put a space wherever there's supposed to be a pause. And so just sorry about that. Don't overlook that word hanging out over there on the left. Kol amar Adonai
Okay.
tzvaot Elohei Yisrael. Pause because of the etnach. Olotechem sfu al zivchechem. Ve'ichlu vasar. All right. Kol amar Adonai tzvaot Elohei Yisrael. This is a rather usual formula to expect in the prophets. And thus says the Lord. Olotechem. What are olot?
Burnt offerings.
What does it have to do with the root Ein Lamed Yod?
Because smoke goes up.
The whole thing goes up, exactly, in the form of smoke. Oh, wow. What is the root of sfu? What form is it? And because of a vav in suf, you would never expect that vowel to completely disappear. It would remain with a vav, or perhaps it would become a short vowel, but never drop all the way to a shva. And so it is not suf. What else could it be?
Safe?
Yeah, exactly. Samach pe yod, missing yod. Safa with a samach. I think it means something like wipe out or wipe away or something like that. Al zivchechem ve'ichlu vasar. And so I'm not really sure what the idea here is. Usually zivchechem, your sacrifices, it's referring to something that you're sacrificing, right? Like the olot. So why then sfu? It's I just want to make sure that I'm giving the right
Zivach also means slaughter, right? So I wonder if it's
zavach means to slaughter, right?
Yeah, so wipe away the blood and eat the flesh is it sounds like he's saying. Yuck.
Safa means to scrape, shave, scrape away, remove. So it feels to me like he's saying, get this stuff out of here. And maybe the next verse will help give a little bit of context for that. So then what form of a verb is this? And this one?
It's imperative.
Imperative.
Oh, it's an imperative?
Both of them are imperatives. It's the 2MP, you guys, imperative with the oo on the end. So just imagine the original tav on the front of the yiktol gets lopped off. So instead of tisfu or tispu, it becomes sfu. And instead of tochlu, it becomes ichlu. All right, next. Voldane, would you like to read?
Thank you. Hilo divarti at abortatum velo seutim ba yom hor or tum me a raz me raim al div rei, ola, vazavach.
Vazavach. That's the word zevach.
Vazavach.
That's the word zevach, but in pausal form at the end of the verse. Vazavach. And okay, so this is the reason why, apparently, in the previous verse, and we have the message, scrape that stuff away. Ki lo dibarti, for I did not speak. Et avotechem, I guess we're supposed to understand this as with, because how can you speak an individual, right? That doesn't make sense. Or speak fathers. Rather than the direct object marker, maybe it's with. I did not speak with your fathers. Velot tzivitim, I did not command them. Biyom, and then here we have an example of kti versus kri. How are we supposed to read it versus how it's actually written? It's written like this, but we're supposed to read it like that. Hotzi'i, my causing to yatsa, come out. Otam, the fathers. Me'eretz Mitzrayim, from the land of Israel, Egypt. Al divrei olah vazavach. Matters concerning the olah and the sacrifices is what he seems to be saying. Lo dibarti itam. I did not speak with them. And now, maybe the idea is immediately that wasn't the top of the agenda. I mean, ultimately, yes. According to the Torah, God did lay down instructions for what to do and at the place where he was going to put his name, which ultimately becomes Jerusalem, what to do in the tabernacle, how to give offerings, but it wasn't immediate. So maybe that's the idea of this verse here. Let's see. What is the root of tzivitim? Tzadi, Vav, Yod. Here we get to see the Yod. Yay! Usually it goes missing. And then the T says, I did it, or rather, I did not do it. And then
Them.
to them or them, exactly.
I commanded them.
What binyan is the word hotzi'i?
You feel?
Hifil. Now, why doesn't it have an E sound there like it's supposed to? It's not hofil, it's hefil. So where's the E sound?
Let's see, this is this a infinitive construct?
It is. Infinitive
Okay, then
meaning the action of whatever,
Mhm.
and construct meaning that we can add stuff to it, like maybe a preposition on the front or a possessive suffix on the end. Oh, like that one. So that possessive suffix refers to whom?
I brought
Mhm.
them
Exactly.
when I was bringing them out, or
Exactly. It's my action of causing yatsa.
Mhm.
Very good. So then back to the original question. If he feels supposed to have an E sound, then where is it?
Well, isn't the he feel reflecting the 3ms, not all the conjugations?
Infinitives don't have person, gender, number. They're just a noun.
Okay.
So the word is hotzi. In tell you what, let me back up. Give me a different he feel verb that's a little more regular. Anyone will do, as long as it's regular.
Lehadlik,
Okay, lehadlik. What does that mean?
to light,
Lehadlik.
to light a
Okay,
candle.
why is there an ah sound here when the binyan is called he feel and should have a chirik, right?
Mhm.
Why does it have an ah sound then?
It's just the way it is,
It's
Jared.
just the way it is. Kacha ze bivrit. That's just the way it is. All right. What I'm trying to show here is that if we're looking at the binyan that's called hifil, and in fact, I'm going to change that so that it's hifril. So that way you see three consonants, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to differentiate the katal form, past tense, preterite, completed, whatever you want to call it, versus nearly everything else, including the infinitives and yiktol and imperatives and all of those. So let's just call it infinitive, I guess. In the katal, he feel has an E sound. You would say he leak. He lit, a candle or something, right? He'd
Yeah.
leak. So that is where the name he feel comes from. But in everything else, yiktol or infinitive or imperative, they don't have an E sound. They have an ah sound. Imperative. So that would be more like, if I could call it half il, that would make a lot more sense. And in fact, the original name of this binyan, I say original. The name of this binyan in biblical Aramaic is haf-el, haf-el. So it kind of actually preserves the ah sound. Anyway, so the point is, I want to get back to the question, why is it hotzi instead of following he feel? Well, we partially answered it. It's not a katal form. It's an infinitive. So therefore it should be hotzi. Now back to my original question. Why did it turn into hotzi? Because Hebrew doesn't like complex vowels. Ow becomes O.
So is that a common change for a he feel infinitive?
My microphone cut off for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Ten.
Okay, let me get this back on. The question is whether it's a common change for it to turn into ho like that, H-O.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Only if the first root letter was an original vav. Anytime the original root
Okay.
letter was a vav, which we typically know them as first root letter yod, right?
Yeah.
Yatsa is what you look up in the dictionary. Yatsa means he went out. But what was the original root? Vav tzadi aleph. The vav turned into a yod
Okay.
in so many places. It's originally vav though. And so when you get a vav here, it makes an original how sound that turns into ho, as in hotzi'i. And can you think of any other roots that start with a yod slash vav? How about yashav? How about yada?
Hodia.
Right, exactly. So if we want to put these into he feel, it wouldn't be with a hey and a yod, but rather ho shiv,
Yosef.
no, ho shiv, cause
Oh,
someone to
shoot.
sit or dwell, and then hodia, which means cause someone to know or inform. So it's all of those alleged, what they call pei vav roots. The original root letter, first root letter was a vav. That's it.
Then why do they call it one yod instead of one vav?
And for the same reason that people call lamed yod, lamed hey, convention, it's because Hebrew ultimately turned those roots.
Your microphone turned off again. I
Yeah.
mean, we can't hear you.
This is not cool. I don't like this at all. And this appears to be, oh, I know what's going on. I'm gonna go to my device manager and see if I can shut this thing off. What's going on here? Device manager. Nope, it's not having a problem there. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. Thought I could fix it. Technology, technology. How about that? Okay, hopefully it doesn't keep doing it. If so, it's gonna be really annoying. I'll have to change it somehow. Oh, I know what I can do. I can plug it in over here. Where is that? Here. Come on. Technological problem. Let's try this one. Okay, now it seems that my microphone is back. Wahoo. So sorry about that. Technology stinks. Why is it called Yod? Because Hebrew turned almost all of its Vav initial words into Yod initial for whatever reason. Could somebody
Okay.
say something? Oh, okay, thank you, Cheryl. Why did it do that? I can't answer that. I don't know. Matter of dialect,
Mhm.
and turned all of its w sounds into y sounds.
So is there any way to know when it's going to be a vav, a
Yes,
cholam vav in a hifil
yes.
versus a
Well,
patach?
yes, it will only be a cholam vav whenever the first root letter was an original vav. That's it. All the others should have a patach.
Yeah.
There are obviously other irregularities too, but just in painting with a broad brushstroke, that's my answer.
Okay.
And when it comes to learning vocabulary, it's great to put all of those similar looking irregular verbs together and study them as a group. Okay, next verse. Who wants to read?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
כי אם את הדבר הזה ציוויתי אותם לאמור, שמעו בקולי, והייתי לכם לאלוהים, ואתם תהיו לי לעם, והלכתם בכל הדרך אשר אצווה אתכם, למען ייטב לכם.
I'm not going to let you get away with it. How do you pronounce this? Pronounce that one?
למען.
Lama'an.
למען.
There it is. כי אם את הדבר הזה ציוויתי אותם. All right, so we just heard God say all that stuff about sacrifices. I didn't originally command them. Ki im means on the other hand, but rather instead, exactly. So it's showing contrast. Et hadavar hazeh. Is this a direct object marker? Probably because the verb is over there. Yeah. This is the thing. Tziviti, I commanded. Otam, them. Lemor shima'u bekoli. Saying, here's another imperative. Listen. Or heed, hearken, obey. Bekoli. Bet is usually closeness, so hearken at, by, to, with, something like that. Koli, my voice, my kol. V'hayiti lachem lelohim.
It's vector.
It is. Very good. So it should be, the stress should be over there. V'hayiti.
Yeah.
However, there's the stress mark, so I'm just doing what the Masoretes told me to do. It is possible for the stress to be in the wrong place on a vekatal. But if you ever see the stress over here, then you can be certain that it's vekatal. Here we have to use the context. And v'hayiti lachem lelohim, and I will be for you, for a God. It's like I will become for you God. You will become for me, and you all will become for me a people. Ve'atem tihiu, and you all, there's a yiktol prefix, tav at the front, u at the end. You all will be, li, for me, la'am, into a people. Ve'halachtem, there's another vekatal. And you shall halach, walk. B'chol haderech, kamatz katan, closed unstressed syllable, in all the way, or in every way, or here they just go ahead and turn it plural to make it sound better, in all the ways. Asher, what does the word asher do?
It's a relative pronoun. Like that. It means like or which, that
Good.
which.
Tells more information about what just came. So what about kol haderech? Well, here we go. Asher atzaveh, that which I
Commanded.
was commanding, maybe because it's a yiktol. I was commanding etchem, you all. or that I am commanding. It could be the same for today.
Or
It's just,
I would command, or I
yeah.
would command.
Well, he did command though. So I
Yeah.
guess what we're trying to do is avoid saying I commanded and bring it into an incompleted voice. So whether that's I have been commanding, I was commanding at the time, something like that. Lama'an. Now, why did he command all of this? Lama'an answers the question. In order that yitav lachem. So it'd be good for you. This is for your own good. Sounds like a father. All right, questions on this before we move on? Let's see. Anatoly, do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, I'd like to read.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Down my hand. Below, Shameu, below Hitu, et Ozeva,
Oznam.
Ozna, Belhu, Bimo, et Sot, Bish, Rirut, Libam, Hara, Vayhu, Leohor, Velo, Lefanim.
Very good. Velo sham'u, velo hitu, et oznam. Original word ozn becomes ozen. What are oznayim?
Ears.
Good. What is the root of hitu?
It says incline.
Nata.
Good.
Oh my God.
Strong, exactly. Strong dagesh indicates a missing nun. Tet we see. And then where's the third root letter? Well, when there's a missing, when it appears to be missing, it's probably a yod or a vav, right? So nata is what you would look it up in the lexicon as nata. It's in the he feel, cause to be at an angle. Lo hitu, they did not incline their ear. Vayelechu, and then they walked. But because what is about to come is in contrast with what was, the translator thinks, you know what, let's use a contrasting conjunction. But they walked. B'moatzot. What is a
Yoetz.
Yeah, yoetz, council. Very good. That's
Counselor.
and there's that O again. Because of a original vav that turns into a yod when it's initial, but stays a vav when it's not initial. B'moatzot, according to the councils of bishrirut, the imaginations of.
I think I saw stubbornness somewhere for that word.
Okay, I like it. In fact, I wonder if mine's the same. Let's see where it is. Bishrirut. Hey, where did it go? Tzivitotam. Here it is. Yeah, stubbornness. That's probably a better one. Stubbornness, hardness, firmness. I think I like that better. And I guess figuratively, imagination of lust or something like that. Ooh. And the stubbornness of libam hara. Hara. What's the gender number of hara?
That's so funny. I tried to look up Ra in the BDB today,
Yeah.
and I couldn't find it.
What's the root?
Is it La? Is it Ra'a? Does it have a hey? Does it
Ein.
I9? There we go.
Yeah.
That's why.
Good. And there are other words that look very similar and have nothing to do with evil. Let's review them. What is ra'e or ra'a?
Oh, it's a shepherd also.
Good. To
Ro'eh.
feed. Yeah, exactly. To feed or take care of or pasture. And what about ruah?
Breath.
Not ruach,
Oh,
but
no.
ruach. Ruach.
Ru'ah, it's ein.
Yeah, with an ein. Isn't this the same root as tru'ah? Like the trumpets? Yom
Oh,
tru'ah has to do with
So it would
shouting.
be okay, like a exclamation or
Making loud noises.
exulting noise. Okay.
Making loud noise. So whether it's shouting with the mouth or blasting with trumpets, it's some sort of loud noise. And what about oh gosh, I'm not sure if I know maybe it's resh yod ayin. I'm just going to write it with resh ayin. What is the word rea?
That's neighbor or friend, companion.
Exactly. Right. All I can think of is fellow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So these are there any others?
Probably. There
Um,
was 3 or 4 pages of stuff, so
is there a Yod Resh Ein? I know there's Yod Resh Aleph. Yod Resh Ein. Maybe it's not a very familiar one. Okay. I don't know that one, so I'm just gonna back up. And okay, so this is Resh Ein Ein. What is the gender and number of Hara?
Feminine.
Masculine singular. Super. What's it referring back to?
That's correct.
Something else that's masculine singular, obviously. What is it? Can't be moatzot. That's feminine plural. Can't be shrirut. That's feminine singular. Libam, that has a plural at the end, doesn't it?
doesn't it? Maybe it's the previous verse when it talks about.
Oh, come on, guys. You took the bait.
their
What's
heart.
libam? Thank you. This is a pronominal suffix. The word lev is masculine singular, but it belongs to 3MP, them. So lev ra, libam hara, their heart, which is evil. Hayihyu, excuse me, vayihyu, and they were la'achor, towards backwards, velo lefanim, and not faceward, forwards. They went backwards instead of forwards. Okay, questions, or can we move on?
Just it crossed my mind that if like ein Resh, it's like a name of son of Judah, Ir, it was ein Resh. No,
Oh,
yeah, birth. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Son of
the root
Judah.
of would have to be, I guess, either ur or ir. In fact, means to be awake. If you wake somebody up, or it's leha-ir. If somebody is stirred up, that is hit orer. I'll put a vav in there, hit orer. And his name, Er, is probably having to do with being awake, which is kind of funny because he dies.
Something like
There's another.
that.
Gosh, I wonder if it's related to the word or, bright, like brightness or something like that, which is translated as skin. I don't know. It could be a different word because ein is one of those letters that originally had 2 different pronunciation. There's or and then there's roar. So there's always that. But yeah, that's good.
Question.
Yes, question.
For he too, how do you know the dash is for a noon and it's not Geminate? Geminate.
Okay. I have 2 ways to answer that, so please be patient with me. The first one is that the first root letter in Hebrew is almost never doubled into the second root letter. There's probably 2, possibly 3 examples in all of Hebrew. So therefore, it would be unlikely, not impossible, but unlikely that the first and second root letters would be tet tet or any repeating letter. The most popular exception to this rule would be the word mamash or lemamesh, which has mem mem But then the second answer is that when you see a strong dagesh like this, technically it is quote unquote geminated. It has been grammatically doubled. The word geminated just means it's been doubled, right?
Yes.
So yes, it has been geminated. The question that we should ask is why? Was there something else that assimilated into that tet? So now we see two tets instead of whatever it originally was. So that's my two-part answer. Does that help?
I don't understand where the noon comes from.
Um,
I don't understand how you know that it's a noon and
I
not
guess
dominant.
sure. It's not it's
You're
not
not,
I'm using the word geminate in two different ways. So
yes,
geminate literally means
double,
doubled, but
yes.
grammatically, geminate means that the second and third root letters are the same. So when I'm talking about like resh ein, that
Yes,
is a grammatically geminate root.
yes.
So I'm using one word two different ways. My apologies. I don't like to do that. So I'm trying to define my terms here. And so rather than us calling this a geminated tet, we can call it a grammatically doubled or whatever. But the point is, your question is, how do you know that it was a noon? Where did the noon come from? And that ultimately comes down to vocabulary. I mean, I guess the way I teach this kind of stuff is to say, whenever you see a strong dagesh, the first suspicion you should have is a missing noon, because the vast majority of the time that's the culprit. But that's only a most of the time rule. Doesn't work 100% of the time. And like for example, here we see a strong dagesh in libam. Must be a noon, right? No, it's actually another geminate root, lamed bet bet. So no, it doesn't work most of the time, but noon is, I want to say, by and large, the culprit for missing letters. You know what? Let me back up just a second. You want to count how many root letters actually show up, so you know your target, how many root letters went missing, which ones are you looking for? In the word hitu, how many uh how many root letters are literally written? One,
One.
just the tet. So that means you're thinking to yourself, most Hebrew roots have three. I only see one. What do I need to do? But when you see something like libam, am is the suffix. How many root letters do you see then?
Two.
Two. So that means you're just trying to find the third one. So in the word libam, it makes a lot more sense for that second root letter to be doubled, because there are tons of geminated roots. Second and third root letters are the same. But in the word hitu, you only have one. So a strong dagesh means something came before it. My first root letter is missing. First root letter missing, that is almost always a noon, with some exceptions for yod. Sometimes yod tzadi, the yod goes missing in the tzadi, but vast majority of the time it's a noon. So that's my, I don't know, trick for trying to help people identify missing noons. But how do you know it was an original noon? Well, I guess it's because there are other words in the Bible like natui, which have or nata, which have an explicit noon visible. And we know that this has to do with being at an angle. And we know that he at the front of a word means causing. And we also know that noon at the end of a syllable assimilates. So putting those three things together, we can assume that hita probably comes from hin or hinta, hintu, whatever. I think that's the best I can do to answer your question. I'm sorry. Did that help?
You answered it.
Did that
Thank
help?
you.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see. Gabriel, do you want to read the next one?
Yes,
All right.
please. Lemin Hayom Asher Yatsu Avotehem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Ad Hayom Hazeh Va'eshlach Aleichem et kol avadav avadai hane han hanbi hanbiim yom hashvi hashkem veshalach
Shaloach.
veshalach.
Mhm. Good. Good. Lemin hayom, and from the day. Which day? Asher, more information. Yatzau avotechem, that your plural fathers went out. Me'eretz Mitzrayim. What is me?
From
From. Where's the dagesh? Aleph
Instead,
says, Aleph isn't going to take the dagesh of mean, so it simply becomes me instead.
okay.
Ad hayom hazeh, until the day this one. Big pause because of the etnach. Va'eshlach. What does the aleph here in this word indicate?
One CS.
I.
Yiktol.
Yiktol, exactly. First common singular, I will do something. What does the va on this word indicate?
And conjunctive.
Not
And
just conjunctive, not just conjunctive. If it were just conjunctive, it would be v. Why is it va?
It reverses the tense.
Very good. That's the conversive of, or what I call vayiktol. So instead of I will do something, it means I did or have done or did something. And I sent alechem, to you all, et kol avadai, all of my servants. Who? Haniviim. Is this in construct? Well, tell you what, let me just do this one. Are these two words in construct?
Not necessarily.
I would argue they're not. They're not in construct. Kol avadai already has a definite noun at the end.
Okay.
So definite nouns belong at the end of a construct chain. Therefore, this cannot be part of it. And plus, it doesn't make sense. Servants of the prophets? No, the prophets didn't go. It's just the servants of the prophets. Oh, but what if it's apposition? If I say all of my servants, that is the prophets.
Apposition.
Like Tim, my student, or Jerry, my barber. Yom hashkem v'shaloach. Okay, so this is a little difficult to understand. It's when I was reading scholarly opinions on it, they say either the whole word yom doesn't belong here, or maybe it was originally yomam and it went missing. But the point is, it's happening daily. God didn't just do it one time. It's daily, day by day. And in fact, that's what the other versions have, Septuagint and Vulgate.
We do it in
and
English too. We say back in the day, and we mean a whole time, a whole chunk of time. We say back in the day, but it's not the day, it's a bunch of days.
not just the day, I'm saying daily, day by day.
Yeah. Okay.
Hashkem v'shaloach. What do these two words have in common?
The participles. Shaloch, passive. Hashkem, shaloch. Sending.
Anybody? What do these two words have in common? They are both infinitive absolutes. That's it. Now, they don't look like they have the same pattern because they come from two different binyanim. This one with a hey on the front must be a ifil, and this one without the hey in the o pattern must be
participle.
No. That's o-a. O-a is a participle. This is a-o. It's a kal infinitive absolute. So it just has the idea of adding emphasis, or excuse me, it's well, obviously, I was going to say it's an infinite or infinitive verb. That just means that it doesn't conjugate. It doesn't say who did it and when. It's just a noun or possibly an adverb that represents an action or how it was done. And so how did God do this? Yomam, or daily. Hashkem v'shaloach. Getting up early in the morning and sending. Think in your mind of somebody who's, sitting in bed and they're like, man, I need to send that letter as soon as I can tomorrow morning. What do? They get out of bed as soon as they can and they go to the post office and they put it in the Dropbox. Okay, that's what I see right here when God's like, daily. I was getting up early in the morning and I dropped and I sent it to you early in the morning, the prophets. Like, this is important to God.
It's translated swollen or swollen up early with a Hashem.
Yeah, that's I think that's
Eating.
that shouldn't be
Get up.
swelling. Shouldn't be. So Shem means shoulder,
Shoulder.
and it comes from the idea of shouldering or loading your donkey, something that you do early in the morning. If you have a long trip to go on, you wake up early in the morning and you load your donkey and then you go. But it ultimately becomes the Hebrew word for getting up early in the morning.
First thing.
Actually, can anybody tell me the difference between ketef, like tafaim, versus shem? They both mean shoulder, but the ketef or tafaim are the things that your arms are attached to your body through, whereas shem has more to do with the load-bearing part of the shoulder. And that's the idea of loading your donkey's shoulders, as it were, with a load. All right, next reader. Peggy, you have your hand up, please.
Okay. Velo shamu ela
Elai?
ele
No, Elai.
elai. Velo hitu et oznam vayakshu.
Your favorite word.
I know. I saw that. I won't forget that word, I don't think.
No.
Et arfam
Or pam.
or pum. Hivreu. Heireu.
Very good.
Me avotam.
Excellent reading. Velo sham'u elai. And there's a katon, zakef katon.
Zakef Katan, yeah.
Thank you. Where's the next major break, major pause?
Uznam.
Etnach. Where's the next one?
After arpam.
Zakef Katan.
Or pam. And then, of course, end of verse. So here are the four sections. Velo sham'u elai. And not they listened, heeded, hearkened, obeyed. Eli, unto me. Velo hitu. Now, Voldane knows exactly what this means. What is hitu?
Inclined.
From nata,
Nata.
exactly,
Nata.
to cause to be at an angle. They did not incline oznam, their ear. So basically, these two are acting in parallel to each other, aren't they? They didn't listen to me. They didn't incline their ear, saying the same thing twice using different words. That's called what kind of parallelism?
It's synonymous or something.
Synonymous. Synonymous parallelism. Vayakshu et opam. Okay, Peggy, what is vayakshu?
Stiff-necked. Hard neck.
The root kashe means to be hard. Vayakshu, there's a patach there. Why is there a patach right there? That gives us binyan. It's a he feel. So it's causing to be hard. Causing what to be hard? Direct object marker. Dom, 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 dom. Says it's or pam. There, orif.
It's like daughter-in-law Ruth.
Oh, right,
Daughter-in-law,
Orpah, her sister,
Yeah.
Ruth's sister, or excuse me,
Interesting.
sister-in-law
Went
is
Oh, yeah.
Orpah.
Orfa.
Or pa, that's right, exactly. The oref is like the back of the neck right here. And I always think of like if you have to pick a mean cat or a dog up, you grab them by the back of the neck or whatever. But that's just imagine God doing that with me. Hey, you. It's like, I'm so sorry. But here it's vayakshu, and made hard their necks. Hereu me'avotam. Are these two in synonymous parallelism?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, sure. This is a bad thing and that's a bad thing. And in fact, we could even say that the entire first line is in parallelism with the entire second line to a certain, well, maybe not. Maybe that's stretching it too far. What's called antithetical parallelism? It's opposites. Anyway, back up. And they made their necks hard. What's the root of hereu?
Resh
Surah.
ein.
Very good. Won't forget that one.
Okay,
And
just can I throw that in here now?
of course,
I looked up in two-letter lookup.
yeah.
Yod Resh Ein is a word, and
Okay.
and it means to be broken up or to fear. In Kal, it means to tremble. It's in Justinia. Yeah.
I have so many questions. Okay, so there's already the polel form roea, which means to break up. And then there's already yod resh aleph, which means to fear. So sorry, BDB, I'm skeptical. I think what
No,
they're
this
doing is,
wasn't BDB. This was
sorry,
two-letter lookup.
I know, but what do they
Yeah.
have on two-letter lookup? They have
Oh, yeah,
Gesenius, they have
Gesenius
BDB,
and
they have
Benjamin. Yeah.
right. And so I'm a little skeptical that they would recognize this as I need more information. That's all. Thank you for looking it up. I appreciate it. And okay, here we have a geminate root in the he feel. Does that explain why we don't have a chirik
Oh.
under here? Yes, it does. What it should have been was here, ia, something like that. Here, ia. But instead, what happened is both of the eins collapsed together, and which means that we now have the syllable division here. Sorry, we can't have a short vowel in an open syllable, so it has to lengthen. Hey,
Okay.
and then rea, the tsere there is just capturing the original haf el vowel of he feel, whatever. So causing bad. They did badly. May avotam, from their fathers. What, their fathers caused them to do this? Why is the word from here?
It means more than.
Yeah.
It's a comparative mem. That's right. It's a comparative. They did badly from or compared to their fathers. Their fathers were bad. They did worse.
They
Boy.
did worse.
And we're about to see just how much worse they did, I guess. All right, next reader. Step right up.
Read.
Don't be shy. Go ahead.
Okay. What did bar ta alehem at kol hazvarim ha'ela le velo yishmeu eleka vakarata vakarata I think alehem velo ya'anuha.
Very good. Velo ya'nucha. Vidibalta, you will speak. We've got you spoke with a vav on the front, vekatal, and you shall speak alehem, unto them, et kol hadvarim ha'ele, direct object marker, all of the words, these ones. Velo yishme'u elecha, but they they will not, shma, listen to you. Vekarata, even though it should be vekatal, and you will call alehem unto them, velo ya'anucha. They will not answer you. All right, there's not too much here to talk about, I don't think, unless there's a question. We'll move on. Anatoly, do you want to read next? Do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I'd like
Okay,
to
go
read.
ahead.
Okay. ואמרת עליכם זה הגוי אשר לא שמעו בקול אדוני אלוהיו ולא לקחו מוסר. עבדה האמונה ונחרטה מפיכם.
Mipihem. Good. Ve'amarta, and you shall say, alehem unto them, Levi. Ze hagoy. What's that? Pashta. Asher lo sham'u. Short one right there. This is a nation which did not listen or hearken. B'kol Adonai Elohav, to the voice of the Lord their God, his God, referring back to the Goy. Velo lakhu, and did not take or receive musar. Has anyone ever taken musar classes? It's a kind of a popular thing to do in Israel, to take like ethic. It's an ethics class, but it comes from this word musar, correction, ethics. Avada, what is avad?
Servant perished.
That's with an ayin. This is with an aleph. What is avad?
Work?
It means to perish. Has anyone ever heard of the I think it's in Revelation, something called Abaddon.
Abaddon?
I think it's Abaddon, or
Abaddon.
maybe it's 1B instead of 2. Abaddon. Anyone ever heard of that before? Abaddon?
Yeah.
Revelation.
Abaddon.
Yeah.
What does it mean? It's a place name, right?
Or hell?
Yeah, exactly. Destruction. So it comes from the root avad, which means to cease, to perish. So Abaddon has to do with ceasing and perishing. Here we have a feminine 3FS. She perished, I guess. She who? Ha-emunah. From the root amen. Something that's consistent. So faith, maybe, perished. V'nichreta.
Faithfulness.
Yeah, faithfulness perished, exactly. Karat is to cut. V'nichreta, and she was cut off. Mipihem, from their mouth. Oy, oy, oy.
Oh, I know. It's
Not an encouraging message here today, folks.
Mhm.
I don't know.
But one that still needs to be in
Jeremiah
the
has a
Bible.
lot of that.
Oy, oy, oy. All right. Whoever hasn't read, who wants to read? Go ahead. Anyone who hasn't read yet, do you want to read? Hannah, go ahead.
Thank you. Gazi nizrech vehashlihi usei al shfaim kina ki mas Adonai va'itosh et dor evrato. Evrato.
Very good. That first word has a little problem. Can you try it again, please?
Gazi, no?
There's a strong dagesh in the zayin, which makes a closed, unstressed syllable.
Gozi.
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 Gozi. Gozi. So think of, I guess that would be tegozez, tegozzi, or something like that. Well, gozi. No, is it ligzo? Does anybody know what the infinitive? Sorry, I shouldn't say it that way. the yiktol form of this verb is? I know it's gazaz, right? Is it guz or gazaz? Anyway, it has to do with shearing, but it is second feminine singular. Hey, you shave or shear, and then it says nizrech. Who is a Nazarite?
One
Oh.
keeping a vow that grows their hair long.
So here we've got the nizrech, that I guess the thing that they're trying to consecrate their hair. V'hashlichi.
So why is it feminine?
We're
What about
speaking
goy?
to
Back in the is goy
Hmm,
feminine? I wanted to
no,
know.
goy is masculine.
No. Okay.
Do we need to go back and look at it? Maybe
Oh,
it'll
it's
help us
probably
out.
Mm-hmm.
truth. Is truth feminine?
Truth
Emma?
is feminine, but it's third person. We're not talking to you, truth. We're talking about truth. And so what I want to see is, where's the last time there's a feminine 2FS? I'm not seeing one. No, I'm not seeing one. So we get to see something of a person, gender, number change here, which quite honestly, the Bible is full of. Please don't be too surprised. Mismatching the gender with the verb or the number or something. And so here we're speaking to you, whoever the you happens to be, whether it's a city or like city of Jerusalem, that's always going to be a feminine. Anyway, so gozi nizrech, translated something like shear off your consecrated hair, v'hashlichi, and cast it away, usei. Okay, how many root letters are here? Usei.
2.
2. Any idea what the root
Nasa.
is?
Nasa.
Nasa.
Very
Nasa.
good. Yeah.
But
Why
why
don't we?
isn't there a
Skinnem
dagesh?
levy?
All right.
Skinnem
Did you hear
levy.
what Cheryl said?
Skinnem
Peggy's
levy. Oh.
question is, why is there no dagesh? Cheryl said in the same instant that this is a skinnem levy letter, which with a shva often rejects the dagesh just to keep us on our toes or whatever. And so this is from the root nasa, but unfortunately we have no dagesh in this particular. Oh, actually, you know what? Back up. Should there be a dagesh? Suppose that's the bigger question to ask. In the yiktol form, yes, there should be. Tisa does have a dagesh, but as soon as you make the imperative, whether it's tisa or whether it's tse, here it's tse, whatever. As soon as you take off the front letter, can you have a dagesh at the beginning of a word? Yeah, usually not. It's frowned upon.
Oh.
So should there be a dagesh here at all? Probably not. Usi, and lift up al. Now this is a difficult word. Sfayim. Now you can see that somebody tried to translate it as high places, which is kind of funny. Why would you take a lamentation up to those high places? That's like the last place you should go if you're trying to repent, right? And so rather than sfayim, you'll see in the Greek and Latin versions they have lips, sfatayim.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Oh.
could be,
Safa.
I hate to say it, could be a scribal error. It should have been sfatayim. Sorry, earlier I said safayim when it's shafayim. I'm thinking in myself, I know what the word probably is, so I'm pronouncing it as a sin instead of sheen. Anyway, sfatayim, put upon your lips a lamentation.
That makes more sense.
That makes a lot more sense. Ki ma'as Adonai, for the Lord has rejected. Vayitosh. Oh gosh, how many root letters do we have here?
2.
2. What's missing?
Noon?
Natash.
It's a good guess.
Bad boy Noon.
Sheen. Bad boy Noon. And he has forsaken et do evrato, the generation of his being cross, wrath. Just like in English, someone who is angry is cross. So also in Hebrew, evra is wrath, even though the word avar means to cross over. So it's kind of a nice coincidence.
You say Vayitat, Vayitash is has a noon, and how many root letters did you say?
Right. What I guess what I was trying to get at is we know we can peel away the vav, it's a vayiktol. Therefore, we can also
Yes.
peel away the yod as the yiktol prefix letter. So we're left with only 2 root letters. So we need to figure out where the third one's supposed to go. And the dagesh is the giveaway. It says there's a missing letter. So basically, from that information, I know that the root is something tet shin.
Hmm.
And then, as Peggy aptly answered, she said, "Bad boy noon." I'm like, yep, exactly. So if you wanted to look this up, you could always use just these 2 letters in the 2-letter root lookup website. But yeah, the vast majority of the time, it'll be a missing noon when you have a
So
strong
you
dagesh
can
in the
do
second letter.
that 2-letter lookup. You can look up the second and third letter and
Mhm.
it works.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That is, after all, why it's
Neither.
called 2-letter lookup.
Yeah.
I believe you can also do like first and last root letters, or just the first 2. And so it's very, very helpful. And all
Didn't
right.
know that either.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's the next reader? Oh, Voldani, did you have something to say?
Yes, from the previous screen.
Yes. Okay. I'm going back.
For Gazi,
Gozi or Gozi.
Gozi, if you didn't have that gash in front of Zion, would it be pronounced Gazi?
If you didn't have the dagesh inside the zayin,
Yes,
if there were no dagesh in the zayin, it would be Gazi.
Gazi,
Gazi.
not
Ga-
Gazi.
No, the yod on the end is already the imperative. So that no, just the chirik yod stays the way it is. Either way, it means to FSU, hey you, do something. But here, gazi would have to come from a root like gimel zayin missing yod hey, like gaza. Whereas with the strong dagesh, it lets us know that it's a geminate root gazaz.
I see.
Goes, yeah,
It's a
gozizeh.
Geminate
That's what
word.
it is. It's a geminate root.
Root.
Exactly. It's a geminate root.
Oh,
Elizabeth has her hand up. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I want to read.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Right away. Let's get over to the next slide here.
hmm.
This one's yours.
Ki asu b'nei Yehuda hara ba'enai ne'uvim ne'uvim
Well, ne'um.
ne'um Adonai, yeah, samu shik shikusehem
Right. Very good.
shikuhesem.
Right. If you ever need to, just break it up into the individual vowels. However many vowels you have, that's how many syllables you have. Shi, ku, tse, hem. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
Babayit, babayit, asher nikra shemi alive alav
Alav.
litav tam
Good.
tamo
Litam. Oh, very good. Ki asu v'nei Yehuda hara b'einai ne'um Adonai. Okay, so that's kind of I guess there's technically a little bit of a break right there, right? Kias, that one is too. They have done, who? B'nai Yehuda, the sons of Judah, hara, the evil, ba'enai, in my eyes. Why is this ne'um with a kibbutz instead of ne'um with a shurik?
Because of the makaf?
I think so. If I had to guess, that's what I would say. Because of the makef right here, or makaf, makef, it turns this into a closed unstressed syllable, which requires a short vowel, kibbutz. And samu, from the root sim, to put. Samu, they put. Shikutzehem, their shikutzim, abominations. Babayit, in the house, oive. Asher nikra shmi alav, in the house that is called my name, or by my name, upon it. My name is called upon the house. And by doing so, letam'o, to defile, desecrate, make impure it, referring back to the bite, the house. Shikutzehem. Why is there a dagesh in shikutzehem and letam'o? In leading up to the answer to that question, let me ask another. How many root letters do you see in these two words? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You see all three root letters. So when you see a dagesh, but all three root letters are present and accounted for, then the dagesh must be part of the pattern. Part of the pattern. So this one down here has a dagesh because it is a PL verb, and this one has a dagesh because it's shema. It's called the shema poal, but it belongs to P. It's the noun, which is the action of the verb. But the point is, it derives from PL as well. Lishaketz. So it's part of the pattern. That's why.
Gabrielle has a question, I think, in the chat. No?
Okay. Where is Gabrielle?
Someone just asked a question.
Okay. Do you have a question, Gabrielle?
I was just wondering about the rep app thing.
Could somebody put the 2-letter lookup link in the chat, please? All right, who wants to read next? Actually, you know what?
Jared, I have a quick question about that other one.
Okay.
What's the vowel nakud under the kuf in shikutzehem?
That is a meteg.
Voila. Yeah, some capitulation mark, Tammy.
It's a meteg, not a vowel.
Okay, so you said that it's cool, say him. Oh, that's the vowel. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Sorry.
So the question you didn't ask that some people may be wondering, what is the purpose of a meteg? Anyone have an idea? What's the purpose of a meteg?
To pause or stress it?
Yeah.
Secondary stress?
That's the way I teach it, is that meteg often indicates secondary stress, but the best way to think of meteg is something strange is happening with the syllable division here, and for whatever reason, the scribes want us to pause just a little bit on this syllable. So shikutzehem, we make it just a little bit longer. But ultimately, that turns the tachlis outcome, the brass tacks, is basically going to be that it's secondary stress. Shikutzehem, like that.
And one other question, Jared.
Okay.
Ne'u vam. What is the nikud for the vav? Ne'u.
Ne'um Adonai.
Up here, Ne'um Adonai.
Yes.
The kibbutz under the aleph is Okay. Ne'um Adonai, there's a kibbutz there. What was your question? You said what's
What?
the vowel for the vav?
Correct.
It's a mater letter. So in fact, it is representing the u sound that is in the preceding vowel. Almost like a chirik yod. This is a kibbutz vav.
Wow.
Not nearly as common, but it's still a combination vowel, if you want to call it, like kamatz hey or tzere yod or, combination vowels like that. That's what we're looking at here. It's just that the scribes can't, or the scribes were very, very focused on making sure that syllables were following essentially what I call the Rouse rule. And so as soon as you have a closed syllable, they can no longer have a long vowel there. So they'll do one of two things. Either they'll shorten the vowel. Here, they turned it into a kibbutz. Or they'll leave it as a long vowel, but put a little meteg there to let everybody know something wonky's going on here.
Mm,
I'm trying to
that's
see if
unusual.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely unusual for there to be a kibbutz vav, but that seems to be the most reasonable explanation. Okay, who would like to read next? In fact, we have 15 minutes. If we're going to get to the end, I wonder if I should pick up a few verses. You all okay with that?
Yes.
Or is
Yeah.
someone itching to read? Don't worry, we'll have time to read here in a bit. Uvanu bamot hatofet. Ugh, this stuff. Asher begay ven hinom לשרוף את בניהם ואת בנותיהם באש, אשר לא ציוויתי ולא עלתה על ליבי. Okay. Uvanu, they built. Bamot, high places. Hatofet. Nobody seems to know exactly what tofet means, but the best that the scholars can come up with is that it means something like oven. Asher begay ben hinom. We know what Gehenom is. Gehenom.
Yeah.
The New Testament word Gehenom literally is Gehinom. It's the valley that's southwest of Jerusalem. And the Kidron Valley is east of Jerusalem, and where the two of them meet, apparently that location is called Tophet. Lisrof, to burn. Et benehem, that should be sons because it's masculine. Ve'et benotehem, and their daughters. Ba'esh, in fire. Oy vey. Asher lo tziviti, which I did not command. Velo alta, and it did not come up al libi. It didn't even come up to my mind, my heart. It didn't even come into my heart to think about. If anyone has a comment or question, please stop me. Otherwise, I'll scooch on slide by slide.
Past that verse.
Well, we should learn from the mistakes of yesteryear so we don't repeat them.
You're being repeated.
Yeah, we are.
Lachen hine yamim ba'im ne'um Adonai. Here you can see the kibbutz is here again, but just no vav. My guess is there was a vav in the previous verse, and the scribes obviously can't take the vav out, so they just make a short vowel underneath the aleph instead. Therefore, behold, the days are coming, oracle or declaration of the Lord, velo ye'amer, and it will not be said. This is the nifal of Amar. Od, anymore. Hatofet. I guess the name of the place will no longer be Tofet. That's fulfilled. V'geven hinom, or Gehenim. Ki'im ge haharega. Instead, it will be called the Valley of Slaughter. Now, see, apparently, Tofet, or the Valley of Hinnom, didn't necessarily have a negative connotation to the wickedness that was happening back then, but hopefully the word Valley of Slaughter has a negative connotation. So hopefully that's what the point of this verse. It will no longer be called just blah, blah, blah. It will become this atrocious name that everybody remembers. V'kavru, well, okay, yeah. V'kavru betofet, and they will bury in that Tofet place, me'en makom, until none room, until there's no room. Oof.
Wow.
V'haita nivlat ha'am, and it will be the body, carcass of the people, hazeh, this people, lema'achal, for food, le'of hashamayim, for the birds of the air, ulevehemat ha'aretz, for the beasts of the earth, ve'en macharid. Who are the haredim?
Oh, the trembling ones.
The trembling ones. So here we have that verb, no one will cause the verb harad, or no one will frighten them away.
The birds.
The birds and the animals. Vehishbati, this is from the root shavat, to cease. Notice that the tav has a strong dagesh, so both the third root letter tav and the katal suffix t, I did it, are in the same tav. And I caused ceasing, me'are Yehuda, from the cities of Judah, umechatzot Yerushalayim, and from the outsides, the streets or whatever of Jerusalem, kol sason, the voice of gladness, or of mirth, v'kol simcha, the voice of joy, kol chatan, the voice of the bridegroom, v'kol kala, the voice of the bride. Okay, so is this in parallel? Kol sason v'kol simcha, kol chatan v'kol kala. These are in parallel because weddings are happy events. Saying the same thing twice using different words. Ki chorba tihyeh haaretz. Does anybody know what the Chorva synagogue is?
Yeah.
It's the one that got destroyed like 2+
With the
times.
arch.
Yeah, it's the one with the
New
big
York
arch. It
City.
got destroyed twice, and so it's called the Chorva, or desolate destruction synagogue. And so here, lechorba, for desolation, desolate, it will be, the land will be. Sad, sad, sad. Okay, how many more do we have? I'm gonna save the last two. I think it's the last two verses, right? Let's see how many I have. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna read the next three, and then there will be 2 verses left. Ba'et hahi, at that time, Ne'um Adonai, oracle of the Lord. Here's a ktiv kre. Yotzi'u, they shall cause to come out. Et atzmot malchei Yehuda, the bones of the kings of Judah. Ve'et atzmot sarav, and the bones of his princes. Ve'et atzmot hakohanim, and the bones of the priests. Ve'et atzmot hanvi'im, and the bones of the prophets. So basically all the bones of all these, forgot that too. Ve'et atzmot yoshvei Yerushalayim, the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Mi kivrehem. From their graves. Why would they do that? Why would they bring out all the bones? Atzamot, masculine or feminine?
Feminine.
Because they come in pairs, exactly. Feminine. Okay, I think we're good. Let's keep going. Ushtachum לשמש ולירח ולכל צבא השמיים אשר אהבום ואשר עבדום ואשר הלכו אחריהם ואשר דרשום ואשר השתחוו להם לא יאספו ולא יקברו לדומן על פני האדמה יהיו. The word domen only shows up when talking about corpses. So I don't know that the word dung there is really appropriate. We think of dung as being like fertilizer, but this is like remains. A shetach. What is a shetach?
An area,
An
like a flat
area,
area usually.
like a flat open area. So here it's being used as a verb. Shtachum. They will spread them. Lashemesh before the sun, v'layareach before the moon, ulechol tzva hashemayim and all the hosts of heaven. Ironically, asher ahevum, which they have loved them, and avdum, and they served them, and they walked after them, and they sought them, bowed down to them, and those bones will not be gathered or buried. As remains, they will be on the face of the land. By the way, burial is like the highest or the greatest commandment you can, or the greatest honor you can show someone, the last rite of being buried. So to be wording this passage this way speaks really loudly to Jewish culture.
Jared, can you go back, please?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hishtachavu
Mm-hmm.
is the root het
No.
vav yod.
Oh, excuse me. Chet vav yod. I want to say yes. And this is we've talked about this odd looking word before, so let's go ahead and just revisit it. It's probably an original chet vav yod root. There's a sheen, though, that's part of the air quotes root, which was originally a shafel binyan in a different language. Shafel in Aramaic means causative. So it looks like the shafel root, shachve or shachva or shachvui or whatever it is, got turned into a Hebrew root by putting it into the hit pa'el binyan, and of course final yod becomes hey. So hishtachava. Wait, that's hitshach. Oh, that's hard to say. Hitshachava. The point is, because tav and sheen, or excuse me, sheen followed by tav is hard to pronounce, Hebrew switches the two in a phenomenon known as metathesis, and it becomes hish tachave. So basically, my answer to you is not, sure, the root is het vav yod. My answer is, it's a loan word from a different language that got forced into a Hebrew pattern.
So should it not be sheen het vav?
No, because the end of the verb behaves like a final yod verb in every way. So there is a final yod. So the question then becomes, if there are 4 letters, then where did they all come from? And so this comes from the shafel, which leaves you with those 3 original root letters in the other language, probably Aramaic.
So it's chet vav yod
Chet
or
vav
het vav. So if I wanted to look it up, would it be chet?
2-letter root look up. Let's see if you
Would be
wanted to
4.
look up
In BDB. Dog.
No, I think BDB is going to have it under probably sheen het. I don't know. I don't know what BDB has it under.
BDB has sheen het hey.
Okay, sheen het sheen het hey.
And
It's
hey
hard
is
for
the
me to
vowel.
it's hard for me to remember all of the mistakes that were made in Hebrew language study throughout the centuries. And so no, I don't remember how BDB stores this. Thank you for sharing that. So it's a very, very rare word. Excuse me, I shouldn't say it that way. It's a rare structure, but a very common word. It's technically defined as a hishtafel binyan, which is to say it's a hit pa'el with 4 root letters, having come from a foreign language, from a loan word. Is this the last one? Yes, this is the last one I'm going to read, and then I'm going to have 2 readers to read the last 2 verses, which are Jeremiah 9:22 and 23. V'nivchar mavet mechayim, and it will be chosen that is death over or rather than life. Lechol hasherit hanish'arim. I don't like the word residue. What's the word I'm looking for? Remnant who remain. Min hamishpacha hara'a hazot, from the family, the evil one, this one. Bechol hamakomot hanisharim, of all the places that remain. Asher hidachtim, got a strong dagesh there. What's the root? Sham ne'um Adonai tzvaot. Okay, this has a mem at the end. What is its purpose?
M?
Them. This has a T at the end. What is its purpose?
Me, I.
I
One
did it.
CS.
Has a hey here on the front. What is its purpose?
And it's a he feel.
Good. So that means we have two root letters visible, but one of them has a strong dagesh. What is the root? Something
Nadach.
dalit chet. Something
Yeah.
dalit chet. And we are supposed to suspect bad boy noon. And in fact, that's it. Nadach. Driven away.
And what is that the right translation?
Yeah, nadach. Drive out. Okay, last two verses. Who wants to read? Cheryl wants the last verse. So who wants this one?
Yep. I'll try.
Go ahead,
Diber
Anatoly.
Diber ko ni'um Adonai. Venafla Nivlat Ha'adam Kedomen Al Pnei Hasadeh Uche Amir Mi'acharei Hakotzer Be'ein Mi'asef.
Okay. Daber, speak. Imperative. Ko ne'um Adonai, thus is the oracle of the Lord. V'nafla nivlat ha'adam. She shall fall. That is the carcass of a man or men. Kedomen al pnei hasadeh, like the remains on an open field, on the face of a field. Uch amir, this does not mean handful. Amir, what is the omer?
It's a cubit, I think.
It's not a cubit. Omer. We count
That
50,
the sheep?
you count 50 days. Yes, exactly. A sheaf. It's remember that between Passover and Sukkot, Pentecost, there are 50 days in which the Omer is counted from 1 to 50, 1 to 49, 1 to 50. So the Omer is a sheaf of, let's see, that would be wheat. After Passover, it's wheat. Before Passover, it's barley. And so an Omer is a collection of grain. So Amir evidently has to do with this idea of things that are, that sounds funny, fallable. Not, I know the word is fallible, but I'm just saying fallable. The idea being that you have a harvest guy, a kotzer, coming through and cutting at the bottom of the grain, and as it falls over onto the ground, somebody is supposed to come after him and gather it together. But what we see here is uchamir, like that fallen grain, me'acharei hakotzer, after the harvester, ve'ein me'asef. That's what the dolmen is compared to. The remains. Like people being like people being cut down and nobody is gathering them. Are you talking about dolmen?
No, I was just saying, I just wondered why I called it an omer, a cubit, but is amma a measurement?
An amma is a cubit.
Okay, that's what. Okay. Thank you.
So, Jared, first fruit is a barley harvest, and the Omer is the wheat at the end of counting the Omer?
Yes, in what's called the day after the Sabbath, after the Passover, that's when um it's not a bikurim, it's when the first Omer, the first fruit of barley is brought into the tabernacle, is brought into the temple. And right. So when the New Testament talks about you know, Jesus is our first fruit, what does that actually mean? Well, it's probably referring to that holiday after Passover where people would bring their first sheaf to the temple. And now, unfortunately, there's a split in interpretation as to what day that is. And the Bible says that the day that you're supposed to come to the temple is on the Shabbat after Passover. No, excuse me, I said that wrong. The day after the Shabbat. That's what it's supposed to be. The day after the Shabbat. So it's interpreted two different ways. In modern Judaism, or actually in Judaism all the way back to probably First Temple period, that Shabbat was equated with the holiday after, what is it called? First day of unleavened bread.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Shabbat is called Passover, then that means the next day is the first day of unleavened bread. That's the day you're supposed to come and bring your sheaf. So in that case, the Shabbat would be the Passover itself. So that means the day that you're supposed to come will always be the same day of the month. It will always be on 15 Nisan. Actually, two S's, right? No, that's a Nisan. Nisan is one S. And then the other opinion says this is referring to the weekly Shabbat that happens after the Passover. So the day after it will always be a first day Sunday. And the day of the month, it changes. It could change depending on when the Passover happens. And so this is probably what maybe the Essenes followed or something like that. And this is what Judaism ended up following. But anyway, it's referring to the first fruits when it says in the New Testament, Jesus is our first fruits. It's not just hyperbolic language. It's referring to that holiday, that moed in Leviticus. And all right, comments or questions before we read the last verse? Unless somebody else is itching to get in there, I think Cheryl wants it. Turn your microphone on.
כה אמר אדוני אל יתהלל החכם בחוכמתו, ואל יתהלל בגיבורתו, ואל יתהלל עשיר בעושרו.
It's you said it was a pretty well-known verse here. And Ko amar Adonai, thus says the Lord said, or thus the Lord said, Al yitalel. Is this a yiktol?
It's a hitpael.
It is a hitpael, but what form is it? Is it a yiktol?
Yeah. It is a Joseph?
Right. Because of the owl, we can be certain that this is a jussive, which shows someone's will or desire. Let him glory, or rather, don't let him glory. And the chacham b'chochmato, the wise one in his wisdom. V'al yetalel hagibor bigvurato, or the mighty man in his might. Al yetalel ashir be'oshro, or the rich man in his osher, riches.
Wealth.
Okay. Questions? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and studying Hebrew. I hope that was helpful. I hope you learned a lot today, and I look forward to seeing you guys next. Is next week the last Haftarah, or we have a couple weeks left? Remember, we've gone a full year, full cycle here. I'm just trying to remember what it is that we studied. I'll have to put a message in the chat. But after this series is over, we're going to go through Psalms. Hope you all are going to enjoy that. And I'm going to put all of your requests together and put the most common or the most upvoted Psalms first, and then work down the list. So look forward to that. See you all next week. Lehitraot v'shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom.